We looked at the fact earlier that all your information that you have in Outlook is stored in a file called Outlook full-stop.pst. Now the size of that file will continue to grow and become very large if you don't archive. The purpose of archiving is to take old information out of the Outlook.pst file and put into a separate file called archive.pst. That way you can retrieve that old information in a separate file if you have to, but it also ensures that the Outlook.pst file does not become too large and unmanageable. As far as archiving goes, what Outlook does is any items that are in your calendar that are older than 6 months will be archived because they've been gone and done. Any tasks that are in your task folder older than 6 months will also be archived. Any entries in your journal that are older than 6 months will be archived, and anything you sent in your sent items folder more than 2 months ago will be archived. And also anything that happens to be in your deleted items folder that is older than 2 months will be archived. To check whether your archive is turned on or off, you need to click on File in the ribbon and then click on Options. If you then go to Advanced, you'll see that you have Auto Archive, and this reduces the mailbox size, i.e. the Outlook.pst file, by deleting or moving old items to an archive data file, which is archive.pst. Now if you click the Auto Archive settings, you'll be able to check if your Auto Archive is on, and mine is on. I highly recommend that you do run the Auto Archive. I run my Auto Archive every 14 days, and it prompts me before it runs, and I always say yes. It will delete any old items in any of the email folders, and it will also archive and delete old items older than 6 months. And it moves these old items out to my archive file. If I click the Browse button, I can see that it's going to go to my archive file, and that's a good thing. So I'll choose OK. And OK. So this is where you go to turn on the archive. It's also where you go to turn it off, but I wouldn't recommend that. But certain folders I don't like to have archived, and one of them would be my notes folder, for example. My notes folder, I don't want to lose the notes in my notes folder. I constantly need them to be handy. So what I do is I right click the notes folder and I go into Properties. Now you can go to Folder in the ribbon and choose Properties this way as well. But when you go into the Properties, it's important to notice that you have an Auto Archive tab, and I tell it to not archive items in this folder. I don't want to lose my notes. I need them there the whole time. And OK. You can right click on any folder, for example Sent Items, and go into its properties, and you can control its Auto Archive settings in here. So this is using the default settings, but I could say no, archive this folder despite the default settings and clean out items older than 2 months. I might decide that I want to clean out items older than 3 months, not 2 months. So it's completely up to you whether you don't archive according to the default settings under File and Options, or whether you archive according to unique settings that you set in here. And I'll go OK. But whatever you do, do archive. Now if I go back to File and go back to Account Settings and back to Data Files, I hope you now understand the importance of this file a little further. These files both should be stored somewhere safe, and so you can open the file location and see those two files. There they are there, and you can copy them and put them somewhere safe, and that way if your Outlook crashes you can get all your information back. And do this on a regular basis as well, depending on how much you use your Outlook. But I'm just going to go close and close.